Great. It is March 22nd. It is, this is the Senate Reapportionment Committee, and it has been widely publicized, and was announced on the floor today, so everybody should know about this. And here we are, and our agenda today, as Mike posted, was to look at the House bill, pass it around. This is the House bill. Yeah, don't write on it because you look at the other side. Look at the House bill, decide if we want to amend the House bill in any way, and then do what we will with an amended version if we should so amend it. So I think Amron is here and she will walk us through any proposed amendment we might have.
Sounds good. For the record, Amron Aberdaily Legislative Council. Posted to your committee page today, you will see H722, an act relating to final reapportionment of the House of Representatives as passed by the House. You'll also see a draft proposal of amendment for H722, as well as the final map that the committee approved last Thursday. So
is it draft 1.4?
Yes, I'm sorry, the proposal amendment is draft 1.4. So looking first at H722 as passed by the House, I'm not sure the level of detail that this committee would like to have. I can start with the highlights.
I think from my perspective, and I can be, other people can have a different perspective. I am not concerned about the districts that they drew. I get the House. I think that maybe just a few words about their process and how it was voted out of committee and how it was voted on the floor.
And the deviation.
Yeah.
I think most of us have seen the House map
Yeah.
that was proposed to that, so we have had a chance to look at it graphically.
Right.
So we're not doing solely from a vacuum.
All right, so H722 has 3 sections. The first section is a repeal section. Subsection A is the initial House division description that lays out the districts with 1, 2, and 3 or more members. That is in section 1893 of Title 17. That's the in a typical reapportionment cycle. The first bill would have that initial district breakdown, and then the second bill, which is usually codified in 1893A, is a subdivision of any of those 2 or more member or 3 or more member initial districts. So given the unusual timing of this year's reapportionment with the significant delay of the census data, which pushed back the Legislative Apportionment Board's work by several months, which delayed their recommendation to the General Assembly for the House and for the Senate. This year, the process was slightly different, and that was accomplished through Act 80 of 2022, which laid out sort of some initial districts based off of the Legislative Apportionment Board's alternate or minority map to receive feedback from boards of civil authority and towns on those initial districts. So subsection C is repealing Act 80 to put in, and so then section 2 would put in place all districts for the House in 1 or 2 members. So that's section 1. So section 2 does a notwithstanding the process in Title 17. Title 17 has that sort of 2-bill process that was not really feasible this year given the tight time constraints. And then it proceeds to divide the House into 109 districts. There are 41 2-member districts, 68 1-member districts. The deviation range is a positive 8.77% at the highest, a low of negative 7.88%, with an overall deviation of 16.65%. The bill was voted out of House Government Operations on an 11-0-0 vote. It went to the floor and had, at second reading, a 129-13, and the difference,
No, I thought they were, that's right, 13.
yeah. There were 13 nays, 129 yeses, and the remainder of the people were absent. Can't do math very well on the fly.
So it'd be about
Okay.
23 or 27, I'd say.
And then the effective date would be on passage and would apply to the 2022 election cycle.
Any questions on the, on the House bill? H 722.
It passed big then.
It did that.
129 to 13, and what was the absence?
Whatever the difference is.
Whatever the difference is.
I knew that. I was hoping to get that number.
Usually the speaker would
Maybe.
count it in there, Brian, so.
And the third reading was a voice vote.
And it passed out of the committee 11-0.
And
Yes.
then I see on this amendment, we have a little correction. We can rush ahead, but I'm curious
Yeah.
about that.
Yes. So if there are no more questions about the bill as passed by the House, I will move on to the proposal of amendment.
Please do.
So now I'm looking at draft number 1.4, a committee on reapportionment proposal of amendment. So the first section, let me provide some context first for this. As you know, in the final map that the committee voted out last Thursday, there were 3 cities or towns that were subdivided in order to make the Chittenden Central District. It would be Burlington, a small portion of Colchester, and a portion of Essex. For the Burlington subdivision and for the Essex subdivision, those lines were drawn to match House district lines. So, which was not the case for Colchester, but the other 2 were to match House district lines. So the Burlington matches the subdivision line on the northern section of Chittenden 13 in House districts. And then the Essex subdivision for Chittenden Central Senate District matches the dividing line between Chittenden 23 and Chittenden 24 House districts.
Can I just make a point here? I think that I've been trying to tell people that we did not divide the town of Essex because we did not divide the town of Essex. The Essex has a charter change in here right now that would make the city of Essex and the town completely separate. So the city of Essex is not within the town anymore. So we did not divide.
Today it is.
The slight problem with that is that the House districts, which is what we used in the map, don't perfectly hinge to those borders.
Oh.
They're predominantly that, I think, is it fair to say, they're predominantly that, but by virtue of the House map, it wasn't perfect. So there is a tiny piece of, or a little piece of outside of Essex City that falls into here by virtue of the House map.
But it's not separate right now.
Well, it
Well,
isn't
that's true
separated.
too, that's true too, but by the
It
time
will
we
be by
close
tomorrow.
session.
Or the next day.
Well, as soon as the
But-
governor says.
But
Yeah,
how do you
but-
divide a city up or a town up that hasn't become a city?
Well, it's
Yeah.
voted, I mean, the charter is in the works, right? So it's not like we picked it, that the
Right.
voters have gone through this many year process. But it's just
Okay.
not perfect.
Okay, oh, I didn't
It
realize that.
is predominantly what you're saying, I
Okay.
think, I don't know the precision.
I'm not sure of the precision either.
Okay. Andy?
Do you know either of you know the population difference? Like how much of Essex town is in that Essex city? Is it just like a couple hundred people or
That's a good
How
question.
much of the,
how many people in Essex town are in the district that includes Essex City? Or what will become Essex City?
So Essex has three, is included within 3 House districts. All I can say for certain without looking at a map or the breakdown in our maptitude file is that the southernmost district is a 2-member district, the middle is a 2-member district, and I believe the top is part of a 2-member district, but it incorporates other towns.
Okay, all right, okay. So I take that back.
You're not far wrong. but
Yeah.
Sadly not.
It's too bad.
Hobbs is a single member district,
Is it?
Yeah, yes.
The house.
was not
Used
If
to be
we'd have
Essex.
been timely, if we hadn't had the pandemic and everything was timely, we would have done this a month ago and there wouldn't have been still any charter changes approved and
Well, I can't remember. I think they changed their charter a year ago.
In November.
Yeah. So I think that,
they voted.
they
but
have
wasn't
voted.
approved here.
Correct.
They have voted, they have made their desires clear. We just are in the process of approving.
Have we had any feedback from people in regards to that?
Yes, I have a committee assistant who lives in Essex City.
And they're all
In Essex
upset over
They're
the.
thrilled.
no, the Essex City loves it. Some of the people in Essex Town
Are not
Yeah, but they've been trying for 25 years to merge and they can't do it.
They've
So,
had 16 votes.
Yeah,
but we don't need to talk about that. I'm sorry I even brought it up. I thought that they exactly matched the. So, okay, okay, so,
To correct something that I just said, there are 3 districts in the House that cover Essex. The 2 House districts that would fall within the Senate district are two-member House districts. And then the northern portion of Essex, the town, is a 1-member district on its own.
Boy.
all right,
So,
okay, sorry about that. Little diversion there.
So as I was putting in the subdivision language into the Senate proposal of amendment, I followed along the line along our map just to quadruple check the line language, and I realized that there is a typo in here that it says northern when it should say southern to match both your map as well as the House map. So that is an error. I have alerted the House Government Operations leadership that error is in there. And it would be my recommendation that if you are trying to align the Senate district line with the House district line through that portion of Essex, that the language be identical in both the proposal of amendments and the as passed by House version. So my recommendation would be to propose this first change as a technical correction.
Everybody okay with that?
Absolutely. If that is the only technical correction in a bill this big, I'll be impressed.
And it doesn't change the boundaries or anything, that is just a
No.
technical.
Just the wording
This wording.
was wrong.
Okay,
Just on this whole wording, it's straightforward when it's towns, but then you have a bunch where you're describing a map. Is there software that helps you with this, or is this just you and Nick poring over a map and coming up with words?
The software that we have has a feature that generates language, but it is not very useful in this instance because it keeps referring to census designated place, but doesn't describe it any further than that. So you proceed northerly to a census designated place, then turn easterly to a census designated place.
Okay.
So we were not able to use that feature. I don't know if there are other mapping softwares that are more capable of doing that, but ours is not. So this is really going down, looking at a map and going in very deep into the detail to find the right roads.
Yeah, you did go deep. Wow.
Yeah.
if this is the only correction, that's pretty impressive because I remember 10 years ago, Brattleboro was split in a really bizarre way. I mean, there was some of the District 3 ended up in District 2, not because they wanted it there, but because of the street that was identified, I mean, so I think that one little error is pretty
Yeah,
good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, more power to you and Nick. Yeah,
So
yes,
so I have to say, looking at the detail that Ameren has had to write compared to Nick's speed of quickly moving towns around, this Ameren had the more cumbersome of the tasks.
Oh,
Well, that discounts the hours Nick had to do. it.
Well, that's true. No, I
I think
get
they
that.
both were
Yes.
They
amazing.
both work very hard. We're so grateful, but it is, seeing the language, it is.
Yes, okay. So I think we've accepted that technical amendment. Okay.
Alright, the next proposal of amendment is to strike out the effective date section in the House as passed by House version. And then insert a new section 3, which is outlining the Senate districts, and then adding back in an effective date section. Because that is necessary to have. So, before we dive into the details, some overall background. There are currently 13 Senate districts. I went and looked at the current 13 districts with the 2020 population overlay. So if you were to do nothing, the deviation would be a high of positive 15.72% and a low of negative 10.17%, with an overall deviation of 25.89%. So that is the current state of the districts with the 2020 population. So the section 3 would change the current districts from 13 districts into 16 districts. That's from the division of the Essex Orleans into 2 districts. And then also making that 6-member Chittenden district into 3 districts instead: Chittenden Central, Chittenden North, and Chittenden Southeast. So with this plan, the deviations would be a positive 7.61% as a high and a low of negative 6.8%, with an overall deviation of 14.41%. Out of the 16 districts, there would be 7 1-member districts, 4 2-member, and 5 3-member.
So Ameren, sorry, our final deviation is 14.41, right?
Yes.
Right.
and the house is what?
16.65.
We did.
Mhm.
So for the first district, which is the Addison Senatorial District, you see it has all of the current towns with the addition of Rochester, or a 2-member district. If you would like me to read all the names, I can, but if you don't need that level of detail.
I don't think so. I think that if any one of us doesn't, I don't think we do. Thank you.
I've memorized them. I just do have a question at the end of all the towns. You have the word 2. And
That's
I'm,
the number of
That's the
members.
number of members.
Number of members.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. I hadn't appreciated that because it doesn't say 2.
Yeah.
If you look at the house, see how it is? It says 2.
Okay, got it. Thanks.
So moving on to page 2, the Bennington District is the current towns plus Londonderry, Somerset, and Stratton. This would be a 2-member district, remain a 2-member district. Next is the Caledonia District, which removes the towns of Bradford, Burke, Fairleigh, Kirby, Linden, Newark, Orange, Sheffield, Sutton, Topsham, and West Fairleigh, moving this district from a 2-member district into a 1-member district. Next is the Chittenden Central District, which is the city of Winooski, a portion of the town of Essex, and a portion of the town of Colchester, and then a portion of the city of Burlington. And so you'll see that subdivision description for Burlington, moving from page 2 into page 3 and finishing on page 4. And this would be a 3-member district. Chittenden North District is the towns of Fairfax, Milton, Westford, and the other portion of Essex. And this is a 1-member district. And you'll see the description of the subdivision of the town of Essex, moving from page 4 into page 5.
I love how you say you're.
John, did you have my iPad?
I can go, maybe I should just go get mine.
I'm gonna go get my maps too. I have to say, it's
I love how you
great.
say briefly easterly.
Sometimes it's like a block,
Yeah,
less
of
than a
course,
block.
of course.
I'm doing the same.
And if I don't say
Then
briefly, just
easterly
keep
along
going,
the-
looking for something, not seeing the tiny squiggle.
I hope you didn't go to any trees.
No, do not have to go to minute trees.
Yeah, that was a bad job you had, right? Like,
Yeah.
all that up.
You know, the Senate version feels much easier after doing the House.
I bet. It's a good thing you did
Yeah,
it that
Small
way.
towns other than.
All those single-member districts.
I mean, that's 109 districts. Things to do.
What did we end up with, did you say, 16?
That's gonna be good for next time around, 15 twos, real easy.
But change the constitution.
I think we'll do 31.
Eastern side.
Can you give me the breakdown of 3, 2, and 1 again?
For,
6 threes?
okay, 7 1-member,
7 ones, yep.
4 2-member, and 5 3-member.
Rutland, Windsor,
Yeah.
Washington, to Chittenden.
As a comparison, the current districts are 3 1-member, 6 2-member, 3 3-member, and then 1 6-member.
That'd be-
Just for the proposal amendment for the Senate, comparing the current Senate districts to the proposed map.
Well said.
Study hall.
I think we're all set.
Yeah, all right. Oh, so did you wait?
We did.
Thank you very much.
So moving on to the Chittenden Southeast District. This would be composed of the towns of Bolton, Charlotte, Heinsberg, Jericho, Richmond, Shelburne, South Burlington, St. George, Underhill, Williston, and the other portion of Burlington. And that would be a 3-member district. So next is the Essex District, because this is dividing the current Essex Orleans district into 2 districts. You'll see a lot of repeals of towns within this section, and that's because they are moving over, for the most part, into the Orleans district on its own. So you'll see the deletion of Albany, Barton, Brownington, Charleston, Coventry, Craftsbury, Glover, Greensboro, Irisburg, Jay, Lowell, Linden, Montgomery, Newport Town, Rich.
Linden being crossed.
Excuse me, you're right, Linden is being, thank you, Linden is being added. Removing Montgomery, Newport Town, Richford, Troy, and now this district would be a 1-member district.
The ones that are not underlined are gone, right?
They're crossed out.
The ones that are crossed out are gone, will be,
Because they're into the Orleans.
The underlined are added.
yes, and if there's neither a strikeout or an underline, they remain where they are.
Cameron, I have a lot of faith in you, but are the editors and Nick, like, have people double checked more than just like, that is a lot of changes and it's confusing. So,
It is,
See,
we,
I represent, like Richford
yeah,
is over in his
Yeah, yeah.
district. But Troy's in my district, this must be Essex district.
That's right.
What was that?
Yes, we had, I believe, 5 staff members go through with the map with this language to walk through it step by step and make sure we counted every town. I did a word find to make sure I did not, with Title 24 list of towns, to make sure I did not accidentally list a town twice or not include a town. But I do encourage everyone to always look for errors, just in case.
I think it would have been kind
I feel
of
pretty
cool if a
confident.
town had been in 2 districts,
Or if we lost it.
or if we lost a town somewhere.
Yeah, that would be rude for us.
So moving to Franklin District on page 6. The district remains a 2-member district with the removal of Fairfax and Fletcher and the addition of Richford. Then Grand Isle District would be Grand Isle, Isle Lamont, North Hero, South Hero, and a portion of the town of Colchester. You'll see the description of that subdivision of Colchester goes from page 6 into page 7, and this would remain a 1-member district.
Does that description, Ameren, change the current district at all?
Yes.
It does, okay, that's what I thought.
Is the current district is the entire boundary of the town?
Yes, currently all of Colchester is
Okay.
within Grand Isle District.
Okay.
Next is Lamoille District, which is the current towns, still a 1-member district with the removal of Stowe and the addition of Fletcher and Walcott. The Orange District remains a 1-member district with the addition of Bradford, Fairleigh, Topsham, and West Fairleigh, and the removal of Braintree and Thetford.
Yes.
So help me here. Because as I was, that one of the reasons I wanted to get the map is that in the Caledonia description, you, okay, good,
That's fair.
got it. Okay, sorry. Yep, I'm set, sorry. I
Okay.
missed something. Okay, so we are now,
On page 7.
yep. Lamoille and Orange, okay, great.
So moving to Orleans District. This is a new 1-member district composed of Albany, Barton, Brownington, Burke, Charleston, Coventry, Craftsbury, Glover, Greensboro, Irisburg, Jay, Lowell, Montgomery, Newport Town, Newark, Sheffield, Sutton, Troy, Westfield, and Westmore. So much of that is just separating it from, the language is separating it out from the current Essex Orleans district.
That's Orleans, so it'd be Orleans Senatorial District. Orleans District.
Just
Yes.
Orleans
As
district.
opposed to Orleans gubernatorial district, for example.
Which you'd be an excellent candidate for.
Yeah,
I'll
You
be
should consider.
We got somebody to run.
becoming the governor of Orleans district.
Ameren, the ... to 1, is that akin to, like in the Pay Act, you see, it's actually in statutes as a table, you know?
Yeah, I get.
Because I had thought until this one that it was a bunch of words that we were dotting through and then making sure that the number was right, but this is all new, so it just appears like this.
It does appear exactly like this, without the underline, but it's not in a table. It doesn't follow,
Right.
it also doesn't follow that same format that the House districts do with the districts and then a very thin column.
You count those little dots, and that's how far up the ladder you come.
everyone is a different number of dots.
All right.
I think Chris is.
No, I just thought it was an omission of text, but you're saying that's,
It's not an omission, it's just to
do we have
demarcate
somewhere?
between the end of the towns and where that number is.
And
for-
is somewhere,
Alright.
is there a description that says the Senate description, district description followed by the number of senators? I mean,
It does not say that.
that's strange. Okay.
It doesn't, I
I think
believe that can be
That's
part
what
of
I
the report.
asked. I mean, that was sort of odd.
Yeah, but it is
Great.
just weird
It's, so
language.
it says senatorial districts and the number of senators to be elected from each one are as follows.
Yeah, okay.
And
So, yeah. Okay. Moving.
Well, I don't think that we can change the drafting construct, and I think that putting that in the language itself is pretty. I think that that'll be explained on the floor.
No, I'm not quarreling with it. I was.
Yeah. Yeah,
What am I explaining on the floor?
just that little number
How many
behind,
dots?
the number of
I
dots.
bring my first question, that was my question, yeah, it needs to be explained, because it's odd, it doesn't say 3 senators, it just says 3.
Right,
Okay.
yes,
On the Orleans district, I just want to point out, if people from Orleans say we don't give them anything, we give 20 towns, 20 new towns added to the district.
I thought when I counted them on the map, I could only get to 19, but today I'm reading 20. I thought maybe it would go to, 18 instead of.
And the number of senators is discussed in the introduction, senatorial districts and the number of senators to be elected from each
Right.
are as follows.
Yeah.
So it's, I think it's.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm sorry.
But Andy, 20, well, I got 20.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, I
new.
had 42, so
The
20.
the district has 20,
All right. Washington.
the district body has 20.
All right, moving on to Rutland District. There
Yeah,
is.
School tool.
Rutland District will remain a 3-member district with the addition of Mount Holly and the removal of Pittsfield. Washington District will remain a 3-member district with the addition of Braintree, Orange, and Stowe. Wyndham District will remain a 2-member district with the removal of Somerset and Stratton.
oh, yeah. That's it. I was thinking Londonderry, but those are removed from Windsor this year, yeah.
And then the last district is the Windsor District, which remains a 3-member district and has the addition of Pittsfield and Thetford and the removal of Londonderry, Mount Holly, and Rochester.
So actually, I thought there was one county maybe where we didn't make any changes, but that's not true. Every county has a change.
Every district.
Bennington changed.
Everybody got.
Everybody had
Everybody has.
All right.
So section 4 is the effective date. This act shall take effect on passage and shall apply to representative and senatorial districts for the 2022 election cycle and thereafter. And then after passage, the title of the bill will be amended to read an act relating to reapportioning the final representative districts of the House of Representatives and the senatorial districts of the Senate.
any last minute comments, changes? Tom, do you have anything you'd like to throw in here the last minute?
Just congratulations for the hard work and all the support you got from Ledge Council and Nick and everyone. Good effort.
Good, thank you. And I have to say, I sent out a note to all senators
It was great.
telling people where to find it and everything. And the only person that sent a note back to me out of 30 people was Russ Ingles. Nobody else. And he just said, 700, sounds like you did a good job.
Right?
So
I thought I sent you a note, said thanks for it.
I
It was a good email.
I ignore your messages. You sent too many of them. So, but anyway, I mean, outside of the 7 of us, that was the only response I had. So,
Interesting.
So in terms of the process, I don't know if it's called the caucus of the whole.
yes,
Okay,
it
because
is.
Secretary Bloomer said there were 2 ways to do it. We could just sort of meet in the chamber but not call it a caucus and make it very informal. Or we could do the caucus, which would probably be on YouTube, which I don't think that's a bad idea.
I think it's fine to have it
I think
in broadcast, to
transparency
have
is a
the,
good thing to do.
it'll hear people, everybody can hear
Yeah.
people's comments and people's concerns.
So when we do that, I'm gonna lean on the other 6 if I could. Certainly if your district,
Comes up for a question.
yeah, you would be able to informally answer. So that leaves you with a pile of them. Obviously, there's 3 of them. Well, 4 counting Grand Isle, because it technically has Chittenden attached to it. I could do Rutland and Bennington, I think, without tripping over anything. You might be able to do Wyndham, Madam Chair.
My guess is that there aren't gonna
Yeah,
be
I
very
think
many
that-
questions.
I have been stunned how few questions. there.
Yeah.
Well, we've been keeping folks.
Yeah, that's true, we've been in our buddy system.
So I don't know that there are gonna be a lot
Okay,
of questions. I think mainly we talk about the process, and I'm gonna introduce it by saying that since food isn't allowed in the chamber, that nobody can throw rotten tomatoes at us, and then turn it over to Brian.
Do we have a screen where you put the map up to show the districts?
Handouts.
or we could pass
No,
out
I just
individual
Have
maps.
A big handout, so
I
it's
think-
easier.
I think handing out.
Oh, yeah.
I think that
We
was,
don't want-
this
Yeah.
would be good.
Yes,
This will be Thursday, right?
well, I'm
Yes.
not exactly sure because I think it's too late for us to get it on the calendar for
Yeah, So
tomorrow.
it'll be
So
Friday.
it'll be on notice on Wednesday. I mean, it'll be on notice on Thursday.
Suspend the rules and get it done before the weekend.
That's what I would like
I
to
like that too.
do,
I think
is
we'd
if
be
we
fine
can
with
do second and third and message on
Okay, Friday,
on
That's
Friday.
okay.
no need of that hanging around all week.
No, I think yeah.
So who do I ask to run 30
Well,
maps?
Wait a minute, before we get to that map, I just have to ask, Nick, were you able to fix this?
He did.
Because we don't have Wyndham and Washington on, I mean, we don't have Wyndham and Windsor on this little box.
Yes, I have fixed that.
Okay, great, thank you, Nick. I
Not a
think
problem,
that-
of course. Thank you for finding that.
Yes, my pleasure.
I think that Nick can send it to Tony in the copy room.
If we're looking for more tabloid sized, 11 by 17 sized, I can print those out right here on Ledger.
Oh, great.
Oh, okay.
We need
And
30
sign
copies.
No, we need, I believe it's 35 copies.
Yeah, I think John gets 5.
And do we
Do you have
need
to
to
sign
distribute
it?
the house map as well?
Hmm?
Do you think we need to distribute the house map as well?
No.
But
Well, actually, it's not a bad idea, because then they'll at least have it, and we are
For
all
what?
working.
We're voting
with our
on
people
the
in
house map,
It would be helpful for
Well,
us
better than running
to have the house map also.
that many
I don't
pages.
want to do that.
Exactly.
That's true.
We don't have to go through it, just.
We don't have to
go
decide
through it,
that
but
right
all of
now.
us are gonna be
Blue
working
can
in
help.
these districts.
I know, but I think that if people want the house map, they should go look at the house map. I don't feel any responsibility for handing out the house maps.
We
And
have,
what will happen is that people will start then questioning the house maps.
Okay.
That's true, that is.
I
That
would
may
not
be
want to get waylaid by that.
I think, however, it would be wise for us to have some printed, so that when people ask afterwards, if they want them, I'd love to have
There
them.
must be posted somewhere.
There, post
Yeah, but I'd like
Posted.
to have it. So Nick, I have a favor though on this map.
I'm listening, Senator Clarkson.
Is it possible to differentiate the colors a little more fully between Orleans and Essex, because they look very similar?
Let's see, Orleans, let me grab my copy of it over here.
Orleans,
Well, none of this is
Orleans.
part of the vote.
Orleans and
No,
Essex.
I realize, I'm just saying for people.
Yeah.
who are more clear.
Just say I'd like to go home.
This is the way to do it.
Can we, here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna have, Nick is gonna print out 35 copies. I will check and see if they need to be signed because we're having a handout. That's usually the way we have to do it on the floor. I'll check and see, and we can get them signed. And then we will ask for a caucus of the whole on
Right.
Friday and hopefully do the entire thing.
Yep.
We have both majority leader and minority leader here, and I think that we can probably do all,
Rules of suspension.
yeah. So that we can get it done by Friday so that we're done. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sounds.
So with that, Is there a motion?
No, can I ask Nick a question?
No. Yes. Of course.
I
you can.
gotta get mean and.
I
Hey,
know.
Nick,
Yes, Senator Starr.
in Orleans district,
Yeah.
Westfield isn't mentioned in that blank, just above Lowell or just above J. Is there a problem putting that in? Is there a reason for it not to be in?
It's not a problem. It's just because of the way that the computer balances all the competing labels. And the answer is, to your second question, is very easy. No problem changing that to make sure.
And
that-
over on the other side of that district where you see Brownington,
I do.
Charleston is that empty block there.
Yeah, for my district.
Sounds good. Yeah, I can make sure that that one comes out for sure.
I don't know that,
Okay.
All right.
but that's good. Thank you, Nat.
So they
Absolutely.
will be added, yeah, those, I don't know why they don't appear on the maps, but
I'll make a motion.
There's a certain amount of, there's a limitation for how much you can, you can put on there without allowing for overlaps. And currently, the setting is such that it's there to maximize information while minimizing overlaps, and the computer makes that judgment call. And this is one of those examples where sometimes we need a human to step in.
We need a motion.
yes.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn. That we adopt these.
Draft
The
1.0.
first you have to do is you have to move that we amend H 722 with
Draft
draft
1.4.
1.4. Okay, that's what you just,
I
Said
just
right.
moved that.
that's
We
what
don't
I
have
think
a
you said.
clerk. I could clerk. this.
Or I'll clerk.
Oh, super.
Okay, so I'm gonna go in not any order except around the table. Senator Brock,
Yes.
Senator Pearson,
Yes.
Senator Starr,
Yes.
Senator White, yes. Senator Clarkson,
Yes.
Senator Collmore,
Yes.
Senator Perchlik.
Yes.
Okay,
I will
now,
further
Get a
move,
vote?
wait.
I will further move that we vote out H 722 as amended favorably.
All right. Senator Brock,
Yes.
Senator Pearson.
Yes.
Senator Starr,
Yes.
Senator White, yes. Senator Clarkson,
Yes.
Senator Collmore,
Yes.
and Senator Perchlik.
Yes.
And with that, 5700, and the reporter is Senator Collmore.
Yep.
Anything else?
This has been loads of fun.
Actually,
Pleasure
it
working
Thank
with
you.
was a lot better than I anticipated it being.
Let's do it again in 10 years.
They not
And
be me.
thank you, Amarin.
Yes.
Good job, and Nick.
And Nick.
And Michael.
And Michael, and
And
Michael.
And Tom.
And
Little
Tom Little.
Jeannie.
Yeah.
And
Just
Tom and Jeannie, also thank
everybody.
you. And Mike Farren.
Ron.
Yep. It
Ron.
was,
Which one do you like?
With them all there help.
thank you.
Are you anticipating second reading on Thursday or on Friday?
I think we'll have to do everything on Friday because I don't think that